Hi everybody, it's Christina Quick, the Tarot Biz Mentor, here from the Palatable Psychic Divination and Business Academy. Welcome to another video. It's so good to be back here. I am really excited to talk about today's topic. In fact, the next few videos that are going to be coming out on my YouTube channel are going to be all about mediumship. I love to talk about mediumship. It's something that's very exciting to me. And in today's video, I remember when I was wondering if I was a medium. A psychic medium, and I was wondering, what actually qualifies a psychic medium? How do you even know that you're a psychic medium, right? So all of these really important questions. And I remember going to the internet, just like you probably are now, and looking at all of these awesome blog posts and videos about what, in someone else's opinion, actually makes a medium. So I thought I would put together some type of resource for you guys. So because I not only am a medium, I also have worked as a professional medium, and I have also done and trained other mediums and also coached other mediums as well. So you could say that I have quite a bit of experience in the mediumship world, and there are some signs that are really, really big and big flags, if you will, that will suggest that you do have mediumship tendencies. And so today I actually want to share some of those with you. So these are going to be 5 signs that you are a psychic medium, and these are going to be things that I have experience with, but a lot of other people have these experiences as well. So I hope this video helps you figure out if you are or aren't a medium, and really helps you understand what kind of experiences that mediums have. So the very first sign that you're a medium is that you hear voices, and that's kind of a cliche sign, I know, but it's true. If you have a very, very vast internal world, meaning that you have no problem making up creative worlds or losing yourself in books or games, it means probably that you are the type of person that has an internal narration. Okay, so I just read an article not too long ago about how some people don't have an internal narration, but if you do have an internal narration, then you'll kind of understand what this is like. So if you have an internal narration, is where when you're speaking to yourself or having conversations with yourself or other people in your mind, you can actually hear your voice, or you can hear the conversations that are happening. So if you have an understanding of how that kind of feels, if you don't have an internal narration, you may not be able to know how that feels, and so you may or may not be able to actually hear other spirit voices as well. So if you are the type of person that doesn't have an internal narration, but you are a medium and you do have clear audience and you hear voices, let me know in the comments below, because I'm curious if that's part of this. But for those of you that are, the majority of us that do have an internal narration, then you know what your voice sounds like. Now, if you have ever experienced hearing someone else's voice, and it's not like a conversation you're having with someone, like you're making up a conversation, you're actually hearing like someone talking inside your head. Sometimes my internal narration is different, depending on which one of my higher selves is narrating. So I think that's also really common, that if you feel like you're multiple people or you have multiple personalities within your head, then you are very much likely going to be a medium. Chances are you're either hearing spirit voices, or you're hearing the different altered states of yourself that's actually channeling spirit information or psychic information, okay? Sometimes when you hear voices, they can be coming in different directions. I would like to do another video about this topic specifically, and what the different voices from which direction mean and who they are. But generally speaking, if you hear voices that are coming down at you towards your crown chakra, and like in between your crown chakra and your third eye, if it's like a voice that's like kind of beaming down, chances are that is going to be some type of high vibrational spirit, right? That's going to be like an angel or a spirit guide or an ascended master, right? maybe an extended master, kind of depends if they were someone that relates to you more on an ancestral side or someone that relates to you more on just a vibrational side of it. If you're hearing voices from the back of your head, these are most likely going to be ancestors or other types of spirits. Also, on the left and right hand side, this is different for everybody. Some people hear their feminine spirits on one side, and some people hear masculine spirits on the other. So it can be really interesting when you're a medium and you have all of these different entities competing for your attention. It can really feel like it's like an auditorium of different voices in different directions. So if you can distinguish that you're hearing other voices, or it seems like your voice kind of gets hijacked, if you will, by some other type of voice or entity, you probably are a medium. Number two, if you have overwhelming feelings and you know your hormones have been checked out, you know you're under care for any type of mental health issues that you have, if you are the type of person, which most of us are, that you are highly sensitive or empathic, right? So some people prefer highly sensitive, HSP, and some people prefer empathic. It's a little bit different for everybody, but empaths are highly sensitive people. So either way, if you can walk into a room, right, and you feel like a range of emotions, like you kind of feel off kilter and off of your own balance, and you kind of feel in a way like your aura or your energy is kind of being hijacked by somebody else. It's kind of like if you walked into a room and you know someone was upset and you could visibly see that they were upset, and so you would know, like, logically to maybe stay away from that person or not talk to that person, or their bad attitude might actually rub off on you a little bit. It's like that as an empath, but you actually start taking on the energy of that person. So if that person is like upset, then you know, you become upset despite knowing logically that that person's upset and it has nothing to do with you. But it's not just empathic, right? That's one type of you know, clair psychic ability. But there's also different ways that you can feel through clairsentience. And that's like feeling pressure, or sometimes it will come across as like a wind, like feeling a breeze, or sometimes it will come across as like feeling wet or feeling dry or feeling hot or feeling cold, right? All of these different kinds of senses. So if you walk by somebody and you always get like a chill down your spine, or you walk into an old building and there's nobody there, it could very well be that you are sensing spirit activity. And not everybody feels the emotions of spirits and the emotions of like an object or land, because there's many different ways that many different things that can be a spirit for you to read as a medium. It's not necessarily just talking to deceased people, which is something we'll get into too over the course of this little video series that we're doing. But if you also can interpret energy as through the senses, like hot, cold, wet, dry, pressure, or feeling like water, it's kind of like if you do Reiki or you do any type of like energy healing and you can feel like webs and things like that, it's kind of like that. If you can sense that, but you can sense it and it seems like it's coming from not necessarily a person, but from an entity around you, or just the location that you're in, you're probably a medium. Sometimes it depends on what kind of entity you're dealing with too. Like, it can start out as like a whole bunch of different feelings, but there's also if you feel sick, that's another thing too. And so pay attention, you know, how and what you're feeling around certain people or certain locations, because they will be really great indicators that you can tell what kind of entity you're dealing with. If you feel sick, you're probably dealing with something incarnate. You're probably dealing with something possibly negative or draining, a vampiric spirit of some type. Or you could be dealing with some severe trauma that the spirit has endured. But if you feel happy, really dig into your feelings and feel and see kind of how those feelings might translate to what kind of entity you're dealing with. And if you like, let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do another video on different types of sensations that you might be feeling and as a correlation to what kind of spirits you might be dealing with. Okay. Now, number three, you might be a medium if you have a very active dream life. It's kind of like what I was saying about having a really active imagination or creative imagination, but it's with your dream life, because a lot of mediums actually start out talking to spirits or communicating with spirits through their dreams. And this usually happens for years and years and years, and you might not even know that, the dream that you had about your aunt was actually her really communicating with you, and you thought it was just a memory, but maybe you think real hard about it and you think that wasn't a memory, that was real, that happened. Okay. So if you have a really active dream life, and if you have those dreams, like, I don't know if you guys have these, but I have these all the time. Like, you live whole lifetimes in your dreams. You go through different lives, and it can feel like, you live to be 80 years old in a dream, and then you wake up and you're back in your body. Or soap opera dreams is what I call them, where they just go on and on and on, and they morph and they change, and it all happens within the span of a very, very short time. What people don't understand about dreams is that time doesn't work the same way, right? Or maybe people do, but time doesn't work the same way. And so it's easier. Why do spirits contact us in our dreams? It's easier for them, one, to make the connection with us while we are in an altered state, okay? Number two, it's easier for them to hold our attention. Mediumship is a muscle of attention. The longest you can hold your intention and attention to the spirit, that's your link with them, right? So when they're trying to tell you all this stuff and you're conscious and your monkey mind's going, no, this ain't real, this isn't real, this isn't happening, or you're trying to dismantle it, or trying to think about it in a logical way, they know that they can go into your dream and they can have a whole long conversation and experience with you in a matter of minutes. Okay, so that's another reason why spirits come in dreams, but mainly because you're in an altered state and you're just more receptive. Or you have lucid dreaming. I have that all the time too, where you actually realize that you are dreaming and you can take control of the dream. Now, not very often can I take control of the dream, but very often I do recognize that I am dreaming, and it's usually a little bit after that I'll actually wake up. But sometimes I can take control, and the coolest ones is when I can take control and I can fly, or I don't know if you guys have these, but flying dreams, or ones where you jump really, really high and it's kind of like you're flying, you're defying gravity, breaking away from gravity. Anyways, all the cool dreams that we have, right? But if you can lucid dream, you are a medium for sure. A lot of mediumship is just reaching altered states of consciousness, tuning into, like a radio, different altered states of consciousness, right? Different dimensions of time and space. And it's really there that we create. It's called liminal space. It's like that in-between space between here and the other side. The space between the world of the living, of 3D matter, the physical world, and the realm of spirit vibration, right? Also, if you tend to do things like sleepwalk or talk in your sleep or anything like that, chances are you have mediumship abilities and you have been contacted by angels. It could be extraterrestrials, it could be ancestors, it could be many different types of spirit entities that you have likely been communicating with for a very long time, just didn't know it. Okay, number four, receiving unexplainable or inexplicable signs. If you receive signs, they usually come in threes or they come in multiples. Threes are really impressive, right? Because it's not once, it's not twice, but it's 3 times. There's a whole lot of folklore about the number 3. But 3 times or more, you're getting the same symbol. And it could be things that you just can't even explain, like thinking of someone in particular, and then someone comes up and has a conversation with you about that person, totally unexplained. Or you thinking about a person and like their favorite song comes on the radio. Or you're thinking about a person, and you meet 3 new people that day that share their same name. Okay, so or even seeing like a butterfly or a bird or something on that person's birthday or the anniversary of their passing, or even just a date that's, you know, special between you guys, that holds some, you know, level of reverence and importance, right? And it feels kind of karmic, right? It has that kind of karmic sort of feeling undertone to it. And if you've had these paranormal experiences that you cannot explain, like it's the stuff that's like, I cannot make this up, right? Or it's too wild or too crazy to be true. Chances are you are a medium, and your ancestors, your dearly departed, other types of spirit beings like angels, spirit guides, extended masters, other types of high vibrational beings, they are trying to communicate with you. Spirits will often send us indirect signs and messages, and it's often because we're too afraid, right? And so there's a part of us that kind of shuts down because we get scared, you know, and it's normal. It's normal to be scared of these things. But honestly, you really have nothing to be scared about. I promise you. It took me so long dealing with my fears around mediumship. Oh my gosh. But you know, it's a journey. Everybody has to go through it. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, you really have nothing to be scared of. But they know that. They know you're scared. And because they remember being human. If they were incarnate beings, they remember being human. They remember being scared. They know what it's like. They're not gonna do things to terrify you. Okay. And it's kind of like them saying, okay, how many more signs do I need to send you before you believe it's me, right? So they will literally bombard you with messages, and this includes technology. If you're seeing the same numbers on your clock all the time, or stuff in your house is just turning on and off, and you didn't have anything to do with that, or if lights are flickering around you, or your phone on your battery just goes out really, really quickly, right? You know, you drain things, drain electricity. Chances are you either have a lot of spirits around you, or you have spirits around you that are trying to make contact with you, and they're affecting the electromagnetic field around you. Okay. Number 5, if you have childhood paranormal memories, you probably are a medium if you had imaginary friends as a child, or you were able to see spirits or other types of entity-like things. This usually happens around the age of 3 years old, and that's when we really begin developing our sense of self-identity, right? We start experiencing individualism, and we start being more attentive to our environment around us. You know, we start to be a little bit more cognitive. And so you might, as a young child, seen colors around people, or auras, you know, rainbows around people, glowing lights, flickering, twinkling lights. A lot of kids see twinkling lights. I did. So remember that mediumship isn't just about talking to dead folks. Mediumship really means that you can actually communicate with beings on the other side, right? And if you think back hard enough, you may even have memories of seeing or even hearing ghosts. You might have memories of past lives. You might have memories of people that you know, were around you, but you grew up and then they stopped being around you, and you're like, hey, remember that one, you know, go call your mom and dad or grandma or grandpa, and you call, you remember that one relative we had that was whatever happened to them? And they're like, I'm not sure who you're talking about. And you go to describe them, and they're like, oh, you know, that was your Uncle Charlie, but he passed away, you know, either before you were born or early on in life, but you still kept seeing them, and they were just naturally a part of your environment. So I remember being a child and seeing lights and auras and critters, like these weird fantastical creatures. Maybe could have been fairies or fairy-like creatures. But you probably are a medium if you had a lot of like imaginary friends, or if you saw things as a child and maybe you've forgotten that you've even seen them. You know, that happens too. Or maybe you do remember that you've seen them and you've tried to explain them away. It's just a overactive imagination or something like that. But chances are, if you have these experiences or any of these experiences I've mentioned today, chances are you are a psychic medium. Now, I would love to know, what are your questions about mediumship? Anything to do with mediumship, developing mediumship, what kind of mediumship abilities are there? What kind of readings can you do? Why do people buy mediumship readings? Like anything regarding mediumship or the business of mediumship. I would love to continue this series on. This be just a new series that we do, and I'll just add videos to it. But I would love to know. Write me in the comments below. What are your thoughts about these signs? Have you experienced any of these? How did it come about for you? How did it come across for you? What were your experience? And then also, if you have any questions or topics about mediumship that you'd like me to address and talk about, I would love to know. And if you are not yet subscribed, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up and just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. Bye.